Hello, in this video, I'll show you a simple and inexpensive way to fix a leaking or a dripping faucet. It doesn't matter whether it's a wash basin or a kitchen sink. Replacing a faucet can cost quite a bit, but by fixing it yourself, you can save money, and in many cases, it's almost free. I've personally used this method before, and it lasts for about 1 to 2 years. If the faucet starts leaking again later, you can simply repeat the same repair. The tools you need are common household items, just some pipe thread tape, a few basic tools to remove the valve. This could be a pair of pliers, a wrench, or anything similar. You might also need a screwdriver to take apart certain valve components, and that's it. Let's get started. The problem I've got right now is this faucet. It keeps dripping non-stop. Drip, drip, drip. It might not seem like a big deal, but if you need a bowl underneath, after just a few hours, you will end up with a full bowl of water like this. So today I'm going to fix this valve inside the faucet using just a few household tools. First, I'll remove this part, the handle. It's a small cap right here on the top, so just use a screwdriver to gently take it off like this. Inside, you will find a little screw holding the handle. Use the screwdriver to remove it, and make sure you don't lose that screw. Next, grab a wrench and loosen this part. But before you do that, don't forget to shut off the water supply first. Otherwise, water is going to shoot out everywhere. So go ahead and close the main valve or switch off the pump that feeds water into your plumbing system. In this case, the shutoff valve is located under the sink. Let's try turning it on. You see? No water coming out. Perfect. Now grab an adjustable wrench or a pipe wrench like this. Either one works fine. Once you have loosened it, you get a piece like this. This part is called a ceramic valve cartridge. The main issue here is that the rubber seal inside that started to harden. Normally the rubber is thicker and springy, which helps push the inner valve closed perfectly. But over time, it dries out and loses flexibility. So we need to fix that. There are two simple ways to do it. One is to cut a thin piece of rubber or plastic to make a small washer and place it here. Or in this case, I'll use thread seal tape. Before we start, it's a good idea to clean this part first. Just use some bathroom cleaner and a brush to gently scrub off any dirt or lime scale. Here is ceramic valve. Now let's remove this rubber seal. Sometimes it can be a bit tight, so just use a small screwdriver to gently take it out like this. There we go. What we need to do next is to add a little thickness to this rubber part, so it can press more firmly against the ceramic valve. This is the ceramic valve itself. It controls the water flow. When the faucet is open, the valve disc inside is open. That lets water flow from the inlet channel through the outlet. When it's closed, the valve disc turns back to block the water. But as I mentioned earlier, over time, the rubber loses its spring and can't press firmly enough. That allows a small amount of water to slip through the gap, and that's why the faucet keeps dripping. Now carefully remove the ceramic valve. Once it's out, it should look something like this. This is its normal position. And if you look closely, you see little notches here. They fit into the slots inside the faucet body like this. Now take a look at the contact surface. If you look closely, you might notice some limescale built up on it. Those tiny deposits can create small gaps that allow water to leak through. So I recommend using a bit of bathroom cleaner and gently scrubbing the surface to clean it off. Okay, now if I've cleaned the surface, all the limescale deposits are gone. Next, let's reassemble the parts. Make sure to clean the surfaces before putting everything back together. Start by inserting the first piece. Pay attention to its position and align it exactly as it was before. Check that the notches line up correctly. Then test it by gently turning it to make sure it moves smoothly. After that, place the neck piece on top. The flat surfaces should face each other. You will notice there are grooves. Align them carefully so they fit perfectly. Give it a light twist again to make sure everything turns freely. As I mentioned earlier, there are two simple ways to fix this. The first method is to cut a thin piece of plastic or rubber into a small ring. It works well, but it can be a bit tricky to get the right side. The easier method, and the one I recommend, is to use thread seal tape. Just take some of the tape and wrap it around to form a ring about the same size as the rubber seal. Then place it inside here, like adding one extra layer. This gives the rubber a bit more thickness and pressure against the ceramic valve, which helps seal it tightly and stop the leak. Now, it can be a little tricky to make the tape ring perfectly around the right size. Here is an easier way to do it. Find something that is roughly the same diameter as the hole inside the valve. In my case, I'm using a regular AA battery. It's just a little smaller than the hole inside the valve. I use a small rubber band to hold the shape. Then wrap the thread seal tape around it. How many layers you wrapped depends on how soft or worn the original rubber is. You have to estimate. Sometimes one try is not enough, so if the first doesn't work, just make another with a few more layers. For now, let's try wrapping about 4 or 5 layers to see how it fits. Once you have done wrapping the tape, just slide it off. You should end up with a small ring like this, kind of like a thin washer. Now place it into the valve. Make sure it sits nicely in a round shape. Alright, it's in place. Looks good. Next, put the rubber seal back on top and get ready to reassemble everything. Before putting the valve back, take a quick look inside. If there is any dirt or limescale buildup, it's best to clean it out. Okay, now let's reinstall the valve back into the faucet. When you removed the valve earlier, this rubber seal might have been already worn out, so wrap it with some thread seal tape. Now let's do a quick test assembly. It should feel tighter than before. If it's still a bit loose, that means the tape is not thick enough. In that case, just wrap a few more layers, like we did earlier. Alright, let's give it a try. I'll turn the valve back on. Okay, as you can see, there are no more drips. If you still notice a small leak, just add a few more wraps of tape to increase the pressure, and that should solve the problem. Now it's working perfectly. No need to buy a new faucet. Everything is back together and ready to use. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share, and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of my next useful DIY clips. You can also check out my channel. There might be more videos that could help you out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.